This video is all about how to get a Mini Cooper R58 Coupe up off the ground and onto an axle stand. It's a low profile car and it's a right problem when there's only one jacking point on each corner of the car. Let's get to it. Okay, Mini Cooper R58. The clearance between the bottom of the jacking point and the floor is 135 millimeters. So what we're going to do, if we want to jack that car up and then put it on axle stands, and it's only got one jacking point on each corner. The stand, I've got a little, it's like a little ring, got some strengtheners, just 2 blocks on it, not 4, just 2, and a little overlap on the bracket there, just so that it's ready for me things. That drops into this area. This particular Mini is all plastic underneath side, and you don't have a rigid point underneath to do it. On the other Minis, it has like a reinforced ridge that I can use, but you can't do that on this one. It just has plastic, and the chances are you put something underneath there, you could crack your spoilers. Alfred's, it was £55. The height, the minimum height is 85 millimeters. And then you've got your 45 millimeter wood. So we're looking at 130 millimeters, and I've got 135. So you've only got a 5 millimeter little gap. So I searched all over the internet, all over YouTube. I only found one guy that had a way of doing it. Very clever idea, great invention of his. And I just want to say, at this point, all credit goes to the guy that did the original video. This idea wasn't mine, it's his idea. I've just made a modification of it to suit a low profile car, because it was a bit of a problem trying to work this out. It was a right head scratcher. Like that there, right. That block is to slide under there, and that block is to slide under there. This is only one jacking point on the Mini. Therefore, how do you jack and, you know, jack it up and lift it and jack stand it at the same time? So that's what I'm trying to do with this invention that I saw on YouTube, and I've made my own version for a low profile car. So I have to have a low profile jack and a low profile invention to try and get under there to the jacking point, because the jacking point drops down a little bit, so it makes it, I think it's 135 millimeters. So you need a 5 millimeter gap to be able to slide it all under. The one on the video was for a bigger car, so I had to do some modifications. Made this one, and as you can see, it's only one layer. I was just rough and ready. I didn't even really measure them. I just guessed them out at about 150 in length. It's 5x2 wood, and well, it's actually 120 by 45. So yeah, this is a really easy way of doing it. I put 2 strengthening brackets in. It's got the extra strengthened bit in the middle, so just so that it gives the middle a bit more support. Put a little round disc on here, just so that it's the area where the trolley jack sits, and you can find the center a little bit easier. I need to make a bigger one so it fits the trolley jack properly, preferably with a bit of rubber on top, so I don't get digging in marks like I've already got here from using it. But it did the job. You'll see it later in the video. But this gap here, when you've got this gap in the middle here, this has to be wide enough to take the low profile trolley jack from Halfords. I can't remember what the actual measurements were, but I measured it. I just got the trolley jack and I put the wood at the side, made sure there was a little bit of a gap at the sides here from the wheels, and then I put the brackets in, and I made sure that those brackets had a little bit of an overhang. So when I put the other wood into here, what it's going to do is it's going to come up against this edge and it's going to kind of keep it in line. It's got a little bit of movement, but it isn't too bad. So that's what I came up with. And then go hoping that that wood stays in the middle and doesn't slip off. There you go. Well, at least that proves the car alarm's working. Yeah, can't believe it at that. Take 2. So now I'm going to start jacking, only this time I'll try to do it without setting the alarm off. I should have turned the alarm off. As soon as it detects it tilting, alarm goes. But there's absolutely no point whatsoever putting them mirrors on there. It's just an absolute waste of money, because when you slide it in under the low profile, you can't see the mirrors. There's like a centimetre. So they're just absolutely pointless. You can't see them. So don't bother with the mirrors. But you ain't got the space on this. It's low profile. So forget the mirrors. Now, I did use this today. I tried it out. And the first thing I noticed is on the wood, look, the jack has got like indentations on the wood. So what we need to be doing is we need to be protecting that. And I think the best way is probably with a bit of metal or some rubber or something like that. It's got to be something that's going to protect that from happening. I mean, I'm going to put a bigger like circle, maybe a piece of rubber in a circle on there as well, so it can't move inside the trolley jack when you put it in. Because when you put the trolley jack on like that, it has a little bit of movement either side, so it causes a bit of a problem. Position it. You've got to be very careful. If you get this bit right, you should just be able to drop it on, put it under, and get it practically bang right every time. And then what I did is I made the feet, or the base, and I put some aluminium bar on here. I drilled loads of holes in it just to see which ones lined up the best, and then just put screws in each one on there and on there, so that when I put it in under the jack, it lines up. You can use these bits that overhang here to line it up with the other piece. I screwed them together by putting 3 big screws, about 70mm, in that configuration, in a triangle like that. And on the rear side, I did it the other way around. I went like there, there, and there, so that, as you can see, there. So these are really rough. As you can see, they're not even square, but it's solid and it'll do the job. That looks about like, that looks like it's like the jacking point is in the center of the wood. Handbrake. Make sure it's on. Get it nice and central on there so that the wood doesn't tilt. Not as easy as you think on these minis. On most cars, you'll just put it on the like welding strip that goes down the middle of the car where the jack points are. But this, it's just got a flat plastic pad. So if I want to take the jack out, there you go. So it's jacked up on the wood. Trolley jack's free. Let's lock that off. And again, get it all down. Voila. Works.